Welcome back, guys, to the Berry Blessed podcast. This is Kayla.
And my name's Derek.
And we are the
Berries.
Berries. We're back to talk about endurance. So starting off with endurance, the definition behind endurance is suffering something painful or difficult that you encounter with anything in life. It could be anything medical, a relationship, anything that we endure in life can be either easy or can be difficult, and it can also be a testimony at the end of the day.
Yeah, when I think about endurance, I think about like athletes, right? They're going through, like a game, or even their practice. You have to endure, the physical labor that it takes to go through it. So usually, when you talk about the word endurance, it's not something that's comfortable. It's something that is difficult. It's hard. Sometimes even painful, but you know that if you endure and persevere, it's another word that goes hand in hand with endurance, that the work pays off in the end. Practice gets you ready for the games, and then enduring through the games gets you to the next level. And of course, I'm using sports because it's a Sunday. It's the first NFL Sunday of the year, but that's just kind of what comes to my mind when I think about endurance.
Yeah, and it can be, like you said, anything, enduring in your home, at the workplace. It can happen at any time. One good story from the Bible is the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. So that story is in Genesis chapter 27 through 32 in the Bible. And it goes into how Jacob starts off taking his brother's blessing from his dad. And then once he does that, he flees to Haran, and then he sees Rachel, who he is fond of and falls in love with, but then has to work for 7 years in order to be married to her. After the 7 years, he wants his wife, but his uncle Laban ends up tricking Jacob into laying with his other daughter, which is his oldest, Leah. And then once they lay with one another, ends up saying, like, okay, well, work for me for another 7 years and I will give you Rachel. And then next is Leah. Leah is searching for love through Jacob, but Jacob doesn't give her time of day, and she keeps having babies for him to get that love, but he doesn't, because he has the love for Rachel and only for Rachel. And then finally comes basically, okay, well, this is not working. He's not going to love me for me because I keep giving him babies, especially sons, which back in biblical days, that was a big thing. If you could birth sons for your husband, that was a good thing. And it was a blessing at the end of the day. And then Rachel ended up being very jealous of her sister, because she ended up not being able to bear sons for Jacob.
Yeah, that happened over first the 14 years of Jacob working. The first part of the 7 years obviously was to get to Rachel. And then when he wasn't able to get Rachel, like you said, Laban had tricked him into then working another 7 years. So the first 7 years, right, he works to try to get something that he doesn't get. So by default, he gets Leah, who in biblical times, the oldest was supposed to marry off anyway. So Laban actually wasn't wrong in attempting to get Jacob to marry Leah in the first place. What he was wrong in doing was tricking him, which goes back, though, to what Jacob did to Esau, which was he tricked his brother, essentially. Jacob then goes to his father and steals Esau's blessing. And the whole reason that Jacob even had to flee was because Esau had told him, hey, I'm going to kill you for taking my blessing. So it's kind of funny a little bit that it kind of came full circle like that, because he tricked Esau and then Laban tricks him, and then he has to work an additional 7 years on top of it. So it's just one of those situations where wrong is wrong and right is right. So the endurance piece of that is sometimes, you just have to go through things no matter how difficult they are to get to what you want. And what Jacob wanted was Rachel. And so even though he was tricked, he still endured another 7 years to get to her. and that was kind of his endurance journey.
Yeah. Well, and it also goes to today's life right now, too. People endure stuff, work for many, many years to get an outcome from like a job, whether it's to get that promotion, to get whatever benefits. I know, like, if you work for a certain company for an amount of years, some people get like a month off of work, longer vacations, better pension, better retirement, a promotion to be like a president of a company or, a VP or whatever, to work up to that. So, like, with Jacob, he did work for that 14 years just to get what he wanted out of it, which was a wife that he wanted. Same thing like for, Leah. Leah kept on giving birth to all these kids and didn't get any love for it. I've seen it personally with people today that women would continue to have babies for this person, which they were never giving them time of day. And then when that time comes, when they give birth to that baby, they don't want anything to do with them or that child. So that's another thing too. Or for instance, and jealousy comes into play. It's like, okay, I don't want that. Let me try to get this car. Let me try to get this family. And then they end up plummeting and falling because this is not what their journey is, especially if you have your walk with God and your priority is things or a family that is not with the right person. Again, like, I want the nicest car on the lot, and you don't have the finances to do that, financial burden to you or your household, or for instance, you looking for somebody and looking for a husband and you marry the wrong person that's not the right person, and then you have these kids and all that, and it's like, okay, then you're not happy just because you were jealous of somebody and you want that same life. That happens in today's life too.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, we have to be careful in the things that we are enduring for, because if it's the wrong things that you're putting yourself through, these unnecessary trials and tests and whatnot, then when it comes down to the end of it, then what was it all for?
Right.
So, making sure that, what you want lines up with what God wants is a huge thing. And that's sometimes difficult because there's influence all around us. There's like you were just saying about like cars and houses and things of this nature. The three things that people want the most is money, cars, and homes. And so you work a lifetime trying to get the biggest house, the nicest car, and the nicest materialistic things. But then when it's all said and done, what's it really worth? So yeah, just getting your priorities correctly so that you're enduring for the right things is where you want to be. Enduring for your marriage. If you're married to the person that you want to be married to, that's somebody that you really, really love, enduring through that relationship at the end of the day is going to make it worth it. For your kids, enduring through like their behavior and through their struggles and whatnot, it makes it worth it in the end, because obviously we all want healthy kids and we want healthy marriages and things of that nature. So just making sure you're enduring for the right things.
Right. And again, endurance is not always a bad thing. It also can be a testimony at the end of the day. It is also a test for you to go through, and maybe there's a reason why you're going through that test. Sometimes, like, you have to endure certain things and go through that storm just to get that kind of light bulb to click in your head, to see like, okay, I can actually get through this. And then you can look back and say, okay, I've been through a test kind of like this, or maybe somebody else went through that same test, and you can be a testimony to them if they're going through the same thing. And basically, a lot of us endure the same things that one or another may have done it, but you also can be like a testimony to somebody that's going through that same thing, in life that you might have gone through. So it's not always a bad thing to endure something and go through that storm, because at the end of the day, it is a test, it is a testimony. I can get through this storm as well.
Yeah, all trauma is shared.
Yeah.
There's nothing that someone has been through that someone else has not.
Right.
All trauma shared. Nothing's new.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end it here, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you comment, subscribe, hit the like button. If you guys do have any comments or questions for us, feel free to comment down below. Otherwise, my name is Kayla.
My name is Derek.
And we are
Are the
the Berries.
berries.
Thank you, guys.